Let's see, who do we have here? George Washington. George Washington was probably best known because he was our first president, and also because he wore really dumb-looking wigs, but also looked bald at the same time. So that's all I know about George Washington. Oh, you know what? Here's what I'll do. And also looked bald at the same time. That way you'll know that I finished one off. John Adams. Unfortunately, I guess I'll probably be figuring out what order they're in, I've got the numbers are right next to them on this thing I'm looking at, so it's hard to avoid. So John Adams was next, apparently. He looked like George Washington, but with a shittier chin. Let's see. Thomas Jefferson. Slave fucker. Slave fucker. James Madison. He was married to Dolly Madison, who I think made delicious snack treats, but I'm not really sure which ones. James Monroe was a name of a janitor at my high school, probably. John Quincy Adams. Didn't we already have a John Adams here? I'm going to go back. We did already have a John Adams, so unoriginal name ripper-offer. Andrew Jackson, Old Hickory. I believe he killed a lot of Indians. I know he's on a dollar bill, probably, I don't know, because of that or in spite of that, but he's on some kind of currency. I can tell you that right now because he's good at killing Indians massively. Martin Van Buren would be a great name. A Van Buren sounds like a fancy pen. William Henry Harrison, real ugly. John Tyler, if you added Blues Explosion to the end of that, sounds like a thing that I would know about. James K. Polk. He was the roughest shooting cowboy in all of the western seaboard. Zachary Taylor. Good old Zach. This is the first famous person ever named Zach. And the last one until the 90s when we had Zach Morris and convinced people that was a good name, but it wasn't. Millard Fillmore was actually a duck. Franklin Pierce. Little known fact, his middle name was not Delano. James Buchanan. He was one of the famous Buchanans from that TV show. Abraham Lincoln, probably best known for the bastardization of his name to describe a hot woman, Babraham Lincoln. Andrew Johnson, did not like to be called Andy John. Ulysses S. Grant, Civil War general, sometimes known as, his enemy was Stonewall Jackson, so he was Ulysses S. Grant when they topless wrestled in a wrestling ring to decide the outcome of the Civil War. Rutherford B. Hayes. Sounds like a guy who would like fixed-gear bicycles. James A. Garfield, although it's popularly believed that he's the inspiration for the cat Garfield, James A. Garfield actually preferred Mondays because his wife was quite the shrew. Chester A. Arthur was, in fact, the inspiration for Garfield. Are you guys getting sick of this yet? Grover Cleveland. I don't know anything about him, but he looks like a chunky fat of fat. Benjamin Harrison. Know Nothing Nobody. Apparently Grover Cleveland again. He went twice, but not in a row. That seems very unlikely. Grover Cleveland was the first to go for Wikipedia reform for this kind of shit. William McKinley. I think he shot somebody or got shot by somebody, some bullshit like that. Theodore Roosevelt. He was the one who was exciting. He had the bears in the White House. He did all that kind of stuff. He hits me as our first president that I can get behind as far as being a novelty instead of just some shithead in a suit. Oh, also, he would be the kind of guy who's like, Well, you know what you should do if you're a weak young boy is get bare-chested and swim in the ocean. Let's see, we've got William Howard Taft. I believe he was the Fatso. I think he'll be forever remembered as President Fatso, so that's a nice legacy.